What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Fresh Review. Now, you're new to the channel. What we do here is we review each and every game of the NFL season. Right now, we're reviewing Week 13 of the NFL season. This is Thanksgiving week, so I'll start off with the Chicago Bears take on the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are on a nasty win streak. They find themselves 10-1, winning 9 straight. And after this game, they made it 10 straight, courtesy of the Chicago Bears and their head coach, Matt Eberflus, who was rightfully fired. I'm not one to call for somebody's job, but after this performance on national TV, this ruined a lot of people's Thanksgiving. I know it did. I got a couple Chicago Bears fans I know. They were sick because the Bears were down 16-0 in this game going into halftime. You thought it was going to be a blowout, but the Bears, they fight back valiantly. Caleb Williams has a solid showing here, especially in the second half. He finishes with 256 yards and 3 passing TDs. He had 39 rushing yards on the ground. That tied DeAndre Swift, who also had 39 rushing yards. But Caleb did on 4 carries, whereas DeAndre Swift did on 11. And Caleb Williams made a clutch time throw that got the Bears into field goal range. Scrambled, made an elite play. Only a handful of quarterbacks could make the play that Caleb Williams made there. Mahomes, Allen, Caleb, Lamar, and then that might be the list. You might throw Jaden Daniels or Hurts in there, but you run out on a thin list. He has elite playmaking ability. He showed it this game, got them in the field goal range, but they take a sack here, and instead of calling the timeout and coming up with a play, they end up running out of time because then they got to throw a deep bomb, time runs out, whatever. They were definitely in field goal range before the sack happened, and they had a chance to win the game, and they ended up losing it. I was flabbergasted. So Coach Eberflus is rightfully fired after this game. Poor clock management. They might have to hire a Madden player like myself. Top 100 Madden player. I would never make that mistake when it comes to time management. It's elementary, personally. But DJ Moore had a solid game here. 8 catches, 97 yards, and 1 TD. Keenan Allen had 5 catches, 73 yards, and 2 TDs. So good game there by both those wide receivers. On the flip side, we go look at the Detroit Lions and their wide receivers. St. Brown led the way with 5 catches, 73 yards. David Montgomery on the ground, 21 carries, 88 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, only 9 carries, 87 yards. But both of those running backs went over 100 total yards, so you count their receiving. Now, Jared Goff, 221 yards, 2 passing TDs, solid game there for him. Detroit almost tricked this game off, though. But they hold on. They win it. What I thought was truly a great game. I'm getting an 86 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which was also a divisional rivalry, is the New York Giants take on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, in this game, Drew Lock got the start. He finished with 178 passing yards and 1 interception. Not a solid game here by Drew Lock passing-wise, but on the ground, he did get a 28-yard run, and he had 4 carries for 57 yards and a rushing TD. So, solid game there on the ground. Tyrone Tracy had the other TD for them. He had 9 carries, 32 yards, and a rushing TD there. Also chipped in with 2 catches for 33 yards. Malik Neighbors continues to impress, though. 8 catches, 69 yards for the rookie, so solid game there by Malik Neighbors again. We go look at the Dallas Cowboys on the flip side. Cooper Rush, 195 yards and a touchdown. It wasn't really a great game by either of these quarterbacks when it comes to passing. Rico Dowdle, though, gets a bulk load of the workload here. 22 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. So Rico Dowdle does solid. Another game over 100 yards for him. And then look at wide receiver-wise, CeeDee Lamb. He goes 2 catches, 39 yards. His shoulder is definitely hurting him, but he's toughing it out. Kevontae Turpin, 4 catches, 53 yards. So hopefully with a little bit more rest, CeeDee Lamb can be fully healthy for their next game. We got a longer week now. So hopefully CeeDee Lamb can get back to 100. But I did not think this game was very good. So on a scale of 1 through 100, I'm giving a slightly below average grade of 41 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which was the Miami Dolphins take on the Green Bay Packers. Both these teams are competing for playoff positioning. The Dolphins are trying to sneak into the wild card in the AFC. The Packers are trying to win their division in the NFC North, but also secure a playoff spot by getting a wild card. And the Packers do exactly what they need to do here. It's Miami going on the road in a cold environment. Of course, I'm picking the Packers to win, and that's exactly what the Packers did. Jordan Love goes for 274 passing yards, 2 TDs. Solid game here by Jordan Love. Josh Jacobs kind of contained really well on the ground. 19 carries, 43 yards. He didn't get much going, but he did get a rushing TD. Receiving-wise, though, this is where Jacobs shined. He had a big 49-yard catch and run. He finished with 4 catches, 74 yards, but Tucker Kraft led the way with 6 catches, 78 yards. And Christian Watson also made some big play here. He had 67 yards on 2 catches, but one of them was a 46-yard catch he got. And he also got a 21-yard catch. So solid game there by the Packers. They win a game that was very easy against the Dolphins. They were up most of this game, multiple possessions. Tua, on the other hand, 365 passing yards, 2 passing TDs. A lot of that is garbage time, though. Didn't amount to very much. Rushing wise, they didn't get much going with Devon Achane or Raheem Mostert. Then they found themselves down, so they had to keep airing it out. Right receiver wise, Jonnu Smith, another great game here by him. 10 catches, 113 yards. Tyreek Hill is also solid with 6 catches, 83 yards, and a TD. Devon Achane, yet again, is producing as a wide receiver. 8 catches, 56 yards, and a TD. They even line him up out wide sometimes. So he's a very versatile back. You know, he had elite speed coming in. I'm very impressed by Devon Achane. Hope he continues to do well. But overall, Green Bay wins this game decisively 30-17. I thought a little bit better than the last game because, I'm not trying to really watch Cooper Rush and Drew Lock. Right, it's bad watching, but last game was a little bit closer. But these are both about the same. I'm giving this one slightly below average grade of 45 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which was the first Black Friday game. I'm not sure if this is the first Black Friday one ever or not. I can't remember. But it's the Raiders take on the Kansas City Chiefs. And this game was very close, actually. 17-19, the Chiefs get the win. The Chiefs even found themselves down in the fourth quarter. They got a field goal early on that gave them the lead with just under 10 minutes left, and they were able to hold on. They got a defensive stop at the end of the game. So I thought the Chiefs probably should have went for it, but they believed in their defense, and their defense showed up and got the stop when they needed it most. They win this game 19-17. Mahomes, 306 passing yards and a passing TD. Got sacked 5 times, though, but not a bad showing there by Mahomes. Other than that, it was all field goals. And Harrison Butker being out, they relied on Matt Wright to come through, and he did come up clutch. Isaiah Pacheco's back. He goes 7 carries, 44 yards. Kareem Hunt, 7 carries, 15 yards. Pacheco did break one for 34 yards, so returning back from his broken fibula to be exact. Solid game there by him. D-Hop led the way receiving-wise with 4 catches, 90 yards, and Travis Kelce had the most receptions on the team with 7 and 68 receiving yards. Now, we go over to the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell. I'm going to say it because nobody else is going to say it. 340 passing yards, 2 passing TDs. Mahomes might have got outplayed by Aiden O'Connell. Now, I didn't want to say it, but somebody has to say it, all right? Somebody has to. Raiders really almost stole this one in Kansas City. That had been huge. The Bills are definitely room for the Raiders to get this one done. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But Sincere McCormick leads the way carry-wise. 12 carries, 64 yards. And we look at wide receiver. Brock Bowers, 10 catches, 140 yards, and a TD. This man is... I'm going to go ahead and say it as well. He's the new Travis Kelce. I'm just slandering the Chiefs right now. I woke up and chose violence. I don't think this is a legit 11-1 team. Now, we're going to see. That might sound crazy to say. The back-to-back champs aren't legit. They're 11-1. A lot of people called up my Eagles last year when we were 10-1, and then we started going on that slump. It could happen for the Chiefs as well. Go to the Super Bowl. You start off hot, but all the games you're winning are kind of close and stuff, and then maybe they hit a brick wall. We had to wait and see. But they're 11-1. They're rolling. They're still a top 2 team in the league. It's between them and Detroit. But overall, I did think this was a great game. I'm giving it 84 out of 100. On to our next games. We'll start on Sunday. If the Los Angeles Chargers take on the Atlanta Falcons, and this was a very important game for both teams. The Falcons trying to get that wild card spot or secure their division lead. The Chargers 8-4. They're trying to get that wild card spot as well in their conference. And we're going to start with the Falcons here because at the end of the year, I want to look at all my cover athletes and see how they perform. Did they get injured? Like, maybe we got a Madden curse over here. Because Kirk Cousins got a cover earlier in the year. And this man threw 4 interceptions this game. Now, I had Michael Penix in a couple dynasty drafts. Can we bring in Michael Penix? Can we please bring in Michael Penix? Because 4 interceptions, 0 TDs is unacceptable. Bijan, on the other hand, he does what he needs to do, though. 100 total rushing yards, 102 to be exact, and a rushing TD. Also gets you 6 catches for 33 yards. Wide receiver-wise, Drake London gets peppered with targets. 16 targets here for Drake London. 9 catches, 86 yards, and Ray McLeod gets a 60-yard bomb for Kirk Cousins. And then he also gets 4 catches, 95 yards. So, but Kirk Cousins was not bad this game. He was horrendous. He had an interception on the potential game-winning drive. He had an interception to start the second quarter. And these are just bad passes. It wasn't like these are a benefit of the down interception. That's just bad luck. These are head-scratching interceptions here by Kirk Cousins. But you go to the other side, we look at the other quarterback, Justin Herbert. Doesn't throw a passing TD, but he takes good care of the ball. No turnovers here by Herbert. But only 147 passing yards. Lat McConkey had 117 of those. So Lat McConkey wide out the number one wide receiver here for the Chargers. We look at the running game. They don't get much going on the run game. This is a very bad game to watch, even though it's 17-13. It was decent and close by two potential playoff teams, but man, I gotta give this one I gotta give it a bad grade of 30 out of 100. Because when your fans start booing you, chanting for the backup name, I mean, it's just tough to start watching, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what they're doing in Atlanta. I thought they could have definitely made the playoffs here because they got the talent on the offense, and they made some good offseason signings on the defensive side of the ball, but man, they got to make a change at quarterback, and they got to do it quick. Now, on to our next game, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Cincinnati Bengals. And after the bye week, this was a must-win game for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they did not win it. So now there's a cause for concern. What's going to happen to their head coach? Will Zach Taylor get fired after this season? Because 4-8, their defense is atrocious. The offense is clicking on all cylinders. They lose this game 44-38. But Joe Burrow goes for over 300 yards again and 3 passing TDs. So it's another solid game there by Joe Burrow. But he did throw an interception. And he also did fumble twice. And they lost both of those fumbles. So those are 3 turnovers there. That's kind of what cost the Bengals this game, 3 turnovers. Granted, their defense is any solid. They will not let this man Russ get the cover athlete. Because Russ outdueled Burrow here. Russ went 414 passing yards, 3 passing TDs. He also threw an interception as well. But he didn't have a fumble. That's mainly was a big difference here. But we go back over to the Bengals. Chase Brown, 12 carries, 70 yards, and a TD. Jamar Chase, 6 catches, 86 yards, a TD. T. Higgins also gets a TD as well. And so does Andre Yoshivas. So all 3 wide receivers chip in. And Andre Yoshivas could get a bigger role next year if T. Higgins decide to go somewhere else. Because I don't know how they're going to pay Chase. They already paid Burrow. They got to make changes on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know what the Bengals' future will look like. It's crazy to say maybe the Bengals' window has closed when their best 2 players are so young. But man, it's not looking good for them because they got to do so much on the defense. For the offense to be clicking how they're clicking and not be able to make the playoffs, I don't think they make it now. They had to win out, and it's going to be a tough get to win 5 in a row when you haven't won 5 all season. And they will need some help as well. So it's looking grim for the Bengals. But we got to look at the Steelers side. They're still leading their division right now. It's looking good for them. Najee Harris, 16 carries, 75 yards, and a TD. George Pickens go for 3 catches, 74 yards, and a TD as well. Pat Freiermuth gets a TD, and so does Calvin Austin. So the Bengals lose this shootout to the Steelers. Steelers win 44-38. TJ Watt, I don't normally put defenders. Well, I haven't put a defender on any of the covers yet. But if I was going to make an exception, it would be for the game record that is TJ Watt. He had 2 sacks, 3 total tackles for a loss. Of course, one of those is a strip sack because TJ Watt, after all, this man is an absolute monster. Can't be blocked. Hit the quarterback 5 times. In what I consider to be an amazing game, I'm giving this one 92 out of 100. Now we're going over to our next one, which is the Arizona Cardinals take on the Minnesota Vikings. And this was a must-win game for both teams for different reasons. The Vikings needed this win to try to keep their number 1 seed hopes alive. And they won this game 22-23 because Sam Darnold got the game-winning drive. Handoff to Aaron Jones to seal the walk-off TD. So the Vikings, after winning 5 straight to start the season and losing back-to-back, they are now on another 5-game win streak. So the Vikings are still hot and they are rolling. Won a close one, though. Sam Darnold, 235 passing yards, couple TDs. He also had 22 rushing yards on the ground, and so did Cam Akers and Aaron Jones. So perfectly balanced there by the Vikings offense, running-wise. Akers, Darnold, Jones, all 22 rushing yards. Aaron Jones is somebody that normally gets injured, but he's been healthy this year, and same with James Conner. They've both been healthy, so that's great to see. But Aaron Jones did cough up the ball twice this game, and they did lose one of those fumbles. So you hate to see that, especially one being in the red zone. But we go look at Kyler Murray. 2 interceptions here by Kyler Murray. One came when they needed the game-winning drive. It was on 4th down, though. They need to get in field goal range, throw something up when you're deep in your own territory. It's intercepted. He had 260 passing yards and a passing TD. You count his rushing, 48 yards. He went over 300 total yards. James Conner, 68 rushing yards here, 4 yards per carry. Not bad by him. We look at Trey McBride again leading this team. And Marvin Harrison, decent game here for the rookie. 5 catches, 60 yards and a TD. But Trey McBride, another game with 12 catches, 96 yards, and 0 touchdowns. Oh my goodness. I'm thinking I'm probably doing some underdog bets and just betting TDs. The odds probably don't even make sense. The odds should really be like times 10 for a Trey McBride TD. But they're not even going to give you that type of stuff because he should have been got TDs. It really should be like the volume he's getting. It should probably be 1-to-1 odds or 50-50 on a Trey McBride anytime TD. But this man is allergic to the end zone. He is socially distancing from the end zone, ladies and gentlemen. But overall, I thought this game truly was great. I'm getting an 89 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which is the game you see in the background. The Indianapolis Colts take on the New England Patriots. And this was a great game for both teams here because you look at these starting quarterbacks. They both were the third quarterback taken in their draft class. Both top 5 picks, Anthony Richardson versus Drake May. And the Patriots should really want to lose and try to tank and get the first overall draft pick and get Travis Hunter. That'd be an awesome pairing for Drake May. Okay, he could play wide receiver for you, and he could play cornerback for you. So you can even, if they get him, for example, they could maybe first year have him mainly play wideout since they don't have much wideout help over there. And then if they draft a wideout the next year, or they pick somebody up like T. Higgins in the market, then you play him at cornerback or whatever the case may be. I don't know, but they need to lose this game, and they did lose this game. So the Colts needed a game-winning drive from Anthony Richardson, and they got it. He goes down the field, throws for the passing TD, and instead of going for one, the forced overtime is 23-24. They decide to go for 2, and they do a quarterback draw. Anthony Richardson runs it in. They take the lead with 12 seconds left, and that's how they win the game. Now, you go look at the other stats for the Colts. Anthony Richardson, rest of the game, not that great, really. He goes for 109 passing yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. He also picks up 48 yards on the ground. He also got a rushing TD. So 3 total TDs, 150 plus total yards. Not the best game there for him, but Jonathan Taylor, 96 rushing yards. And you count his reception, receiving TD, goes over 100 scrimmage yards and gets a TD. So not a bad game there by Taylor. But Anthony Richardson, man, inaccuracy. He's missing throws and all that. But when they needed him most, he did come up clutch on the game-winning drive. Now we're going to look at the New England Patriots on the flip side. Drake May, 238 passing yards, a TD, and an interception. Solid game here by May, though. Even after the Anthony Richardson touchdown, he got his team, I want him to stay in the field goal range. He got him to Hail Mary range. They got to the 50-yard line and tried to kick a record-setting 68-yard field goal with Joey Sly. He is not Brandon Aubrey. Gerard Mayo, what are you doing? That is how you lose your job, Gerard Mayo. You just saw what happened to Coach Eberflus, and you're going to go out there and try to kick a 68 game-winning field goal. That's 1 yard behind midfield. Just go for the Hail Mary. I don't know what they were thinking there, but that's a different story. Now we go talk about the running backs. For Ramondre Stevenson, hasn't been great this season, but this game, 73 rushing yards, so 4 yards per carry. Just short of 100 total yards, though. Hunter Henry been solid, though, for these guys. Been their best pass catcher, in my opinion, all year. 7 catches, 75 yards for him. Antonio Gibson, though, he did shine. 7 carries, 69 yards, and a rushing TD. Drake May had a 41-yard run. That was a great run there by Drake May right at the middle. Showcases solid wheels. He's not Anthony Richardson when he runs the ball, but he is up there. He is very good. He's a top 10 rushing quarterback, I believe. He definitely got dynamic wheels. But overall, I thought this game was amazing. I'm giving it a 94 out of 100. It's a Game of the Week candidate. I got it in the background. I'm not sure if it really was Game of the Week, but I already recorded this footage. So, hey, we're just going to have this one rock. Now we're going on to our next one, which was a crazy game. The Seattle Seahawks take on the New York Jets. And I'm done picking the Jets to win any games. I keep picking these guys to win games. I'm just convinced they can't do it. I'm like, Seattle, that's a West Coast team traveling out east. It's going to be tough for them. And what do I know? The Jets jump up early, 14-0. Then they also make it 21-7 when they get a kickoff return to the house, 99 yards. Great return here. And then it was like the Jets could extend their lead. No, they cannot because Aaron Rodgers throws a pick six, 92-yard pick six, to Leonard Williams of all people. This play might have took 30 seconds. I kid you not. The man was moving, but he wasn't moving. He was moving in quicksand. It was outlandish to watch. I promise you, it's crazy. So that's what happened there. But the craziest part about that whole play is the play before they had a touchdown, but Aaron Rodgers actually overthrows Garrett Wilson, who's wide open on a double move in the end zone. So after that, the Jets just get shut out the rest of the game. They end up losing 26-21. So they didn't score offensive touchdown or any offensive points since the first quarter, and then they had that special team kickoff return early in the second quarter, and then they're shut out the rest of the game. I couldn't believe the Jets really lost this game. Aaron Rodgers, he goes for 185 passing yards, 2 TDs, and an interception. So 3 TDs if you count the pick 60 through to Leonard Williams. Bad game again by him. A whole bunch of nothing here. 4.7 yards per pass attempt. Inexcusable. Brees Hall gets 60 yards on the ground, 5 yards per carry. Devontae Adams leads the way with 5 catches, 66 yards, and a TD. Now we go look at the Seattle Seahawks on the other hand. Geno Smith, 206 passing yards and a TD there. Kenneth Walker, 16 carries, 49 yards. But Zach Charbonnet gets the go-ahead TD end of the game. 4 carries, 28 yards, and that rushing TD. JSN leads the way again in receiving yards, 74 yards there by JSN. Seahawks had 3 fumbles this game. They lost 2 of them, and they still held on. I mean, I had to hear Aaron Rodgers' whole career. He never had help. He never had this. Your defense got you turnovers. Your special teams got you a touchdown. You still ain't doing anything. Well, he's 40 years old now. Well, all right, that's fair. But he wasn't doing anything when he was 30-year-old, but making excuses. I'm tired of the Aaron Rodgers drama in New York. I don't know what they do. I don't know. They draft a quarterback and they pick up Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold hits the mark, I don't know what they do next year, but I'd be shocked that Aaron Rodgers is there again because the body language is bad. They're 3-9. They're probably going to have a great draft pick. I don't know what the Jets are going to do, but it's time to just blow it up. Overall, though, I did think this was an amazing game. I give it a 91 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which was the Tennessee Titans taking on the Washington Commanders, and this game was over early. 28-0 to start the game with the quickness. 21-0 at the end of the first. Then the Commanders scored quickly in the second quarter, and the game was over. Changed the channel. It didn't matter. Jaden Daniels finishes the game with 206 passing yards, 3 TDs, and 1 interception. Brian Robinson, 16 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Chris Rodriguez filling in for Austin Eckler, who's out for probably the rest of the regular season with a concussion since he's on IR. Chris Rodriguez, 13 carries, 94 yards, and a TD. Jaden Daniels also gets a rushing TD. So, I mean, they just ran it up on these boys. No pun intended. Terry McLaurin, though. 8 catches, 73 yards, 2 TDs for him. Zach Ertz, another TD as well. So, those seem to be Terry McLaurin's favorite 2 targets. Jaden Daniels' favorite 2 targets. Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz. Now we go over to the flip side. We got the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis finishes the game with 2 passing TDs, 18 of 37 completion, so sub 50%. All garbage time yardage. When we needed you most, you vanished, bro. You are the avatar. The game was over early on. This game was awful. I will not lie to you, but there were some good highlights and stuff. But after the first quarter, it didn't even care anymore. I'm giving this game 25 out of 100. Nobody else, I'm lying. Nick Westbrook-Akine was worth noting. 2 TDs for this man, the infinite money glitch. 3 catches, 61 yards, 2 TDs. Right now, Nick Westbrook-Akine, put it in. All parlays. TD, TD, TD. Anytime TD. Anywhere TD. Any way TD. Passing, rushing, receiving. The man's a walking TD. But other than that, thought the game was awful. 25 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which is a divisional matchup. The Houston Texans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars lose this game. They probably aren't too mad about it. But I know what they are mad about. It is their franchise quarterback getting his head taken off by Azeez Al-Shaair. They were throwing bottles at this man while he was walking out. It was Meta World Peace-like. I kid you not. This man, Trevor Lawrence, is looking like the headless horseman. He is going Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, all that. He slid down. It's obvious he was sliding. He began to slide. His cheeks are on the ground. And Azeez Al-Shaair leans in, takes his head off with the forearm and everything. Nasty hit. Azeez Al-Shaair will be fined and suspended for this hit. And Trevor Lawrence will probably get deactivated for the rest of the season. Because this was a nasty concussion he sustained here. Hopefully he'll be good to go next year. But, man, he finished this game 4 for 10 with an interception, so he wasn't having a great game. Matt Jones filled in for him. Matt Jones did okay-ish. 235 passing yards, 2 passing TDs. We look at the running backs for Jacksonville. They don't get much going down here. Tank Bigsby and ETN combined for 20 carries, 74 rushing yards. But Brian Thomas Jr., 4 catches, 76 yards, and passing TD. A receiving TD. He got that late in the game. That cut the lead down to 3, but it was too low, too late. The Texans were up 23-6, so this game was pretty much over. That's how they took that lead in the fourth quarter after Dalton Schultz TD catch. But the Jaguars tried to fight back, make it competitive, but just too little, too late. Parker Washington did solid though, with Christian Kirk being out with a broken collarbone. Hopefully he can step up. He goes for over 100 receiving yards this game on 6 catches, and he also gets a TD. Now on the flip side, we could look at the Houston Texans. Joe Mixon goes for over 100 rushing yards and gets a TD. Nico Collins goes for over 100 receiving yards, 119 to be exact, with 8 catches. And then we look at C.J. Stroud, had a solid game here. Only got sacked twice. That's a low for this guy. He's normally on the higher echelon, again sacked, but 242 passing yards there for Stroud. Overall, solid game here. Thankfully, Stroud was able to make out this game alive. Cause I thought after that hit to Trevor Lawrence, I thought there could have been some bounty gate going on. But thankfully, that wasn't the case. The Texans win, and they extend their lead in the division over the Colts. So, overall, I thought this was a well above average game. I'm giving it a 64 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which is the LA Rams take on the New Orleans Saints. So the Rams need to win this game to try to keep themselves within the division race of winning the division, potentially even the wild card spot. And that's exactly what they do here. The Saints, their division a little lackluster too. They won this game. They could also been the division conversation for the NFC South, but they did not win this game. The Saints had Derek Carr play for them. 5 yards per pass attempt is never good, but then he gets 1 passing TD here. Alvin Kamara, though, 23 carries, 112 yards. You can normally rely on him to do something in the receiving department, but nobody for the Saints did anything receiving-wise here with Derek Carr throwing the ball, except for Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He got a 28-yard TD here. Great ball here by Derek Carr. And that ended up tying the game because they went for 2 afterwards. So the Saints took a 6-0 lead going into halftime. Of course, they're going to squander that. And then they fell down 14-6. Got the MVS TD, went for 2, got that as well. Tied the game, then the Rams go get the game-winning TD going to Puka. Puka, 5 catches, 56 yards in the game-winning TD. DeMarcus Robinson also gets a TD here, though. 2 catches, 49 yards. So a great red zone threat. Cooper Kupp, silent game here for him. 3 catches, 17 yards. Kyren Williams, though. Mr. Consistency himself. 15 carries, 104 yards, and a TD. And it looks like the infinite money glitch is a Kyren TD and a Nick Westbrook-Akine TD. You can almost guarantee it like death and taxes. But Matthew Stafford, 183 passing yards, 2 TDs. Solid game here by Stafford. Does enough to win this game. Game was close, but not very exciting. I'm giving it an above average grade of 60 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next one, which was definitely exciting. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Carolina Panthers. And wow, the Panthers might be legit because they are no longer getting punked around. They are not getting smacked around. And Bryce Young is playing at a solid level. He goes for over 300 total yards, 298 passing, 17 rushing, so 315 to be exact. Gets a rushing TD and gets a passing TD. Chuba Hubbard, 12 carries, 43 yards by him. Jonathan Brooks still getting eased back in. He goes for 6 carries, 18 yards. But Adam Thielen, that chemistry they had from last season still carries over to this season. Adam Thielen, 8 catches, 99 yards, and a TD for him. He leads the way for the Carolina Panthers. Chuba did fumble this game, and they did lose it. That was a costly fumble because it came in overtime. So the Panthers defense already stopped the Tampa Bay's offense. All they had to do now was just go down the field, get a field goal to win it. He fumbles at midfield, then Baker leads them boys down to field goal range, and that's how they win the game. But overall, this game was very entertaining. Thought it was a spectacular game. Went back and forth all the way throughout. The Panthers even had a late go-ahead TD that could have won them the game, but Tampa Bay, of course, with Baker Mayfield there, gets them in the field goal range as time expires. Now, I thought this game, like I said, was spectacular, so I'm giving it a 95 out of 100. So it probably should have been the game of the week if I wanted to show one in the background. But let's talk about Bucky Irving real quick. 25 carries, 152 yards, So that's 6 yards per carry. He breaks one open for 43. He also gets a rushing TD. This man has been phenomenal to watch. His vision is so elite. He doesn't have that breakaway speed, so he can get chased down a little bit. But his acceleration, his burst, and his vision makes up for it. Baker Mayfield, 2 interceptions this game, sacked 4 times, also fumbled twice. But 235 passing yards, 1 TD. He did enough for them to win. Mainly because Bucky Irving, like I said. But Mike Evans, 8 catches, 118 yards, and a TD. This was exactly what Mike Evans needed to get back on pace for 1,000 yards. So as long as he keeps going over the projection each week, or the required number, he will end up getting there. It will be a close race, but he's more than capable of doing it. And long as he and Baker Mayfield can stay healthy. Because Baker did get banged up here, had a nasty ankle sprain, but he's able to tough it out and come back into the game. But we're going on to our next game, which is the Philadelphia Eagles take on the Baltimore Ravens. Two of the best teams in the league. I think the Eagles are right behind the Lions and the Chiefs, only because they got that one extra L. And granted, that L came when they had no A.J. Brown. One of them came when they had no Devontae Smith as well, in addition to having no A.J. Brown. But team's very hot, and then you got the MVP frontrunner, in my opinion, Lamar Jackson, having one of the best seasons of his career, if not the best season of his career, going head to head. So a lot of offensive player of the year candidates here, one for the Eagles and Saquon. Then you got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson on the other side. I expect this game to be a high-scoring affair, but the Eagles' defense plays really well this game. Although the final score is 24-19, it was really 24-12. The Ravens get a garbage time touchdown at the end. Pretty much got shut out all second half except for that touchdown. Granted, Justin Tucker did miss a couple field goals, but limiting the Ravens' defense to field goals is a success in my opinion. Lamar finished with 237 passing yards and 79 rushing yards, so you count all that up, over 300 total yards. Granted, remember, garbage time doesn't really count, including that 39-yard he had very late into the fourth quarter where he got free there. Derrick Henry, though, 19 carries, 82 yards. Not a bad game, not a good game. You'll take it. You're the Eagles on defense. Receiving wise, Isaiah Likely got a TD, and so did Mark Andrews. So both their tight ends get TDs here, and Zay Flowers go for 74 receiving yards. So he leads the way for the Ravens on the receiving part. Now we go look at the Eagles on the flip side, though. Jalen Hurts is more than capable of playing at MVP level. He has not been playing at an MVP level. We've been relying on Saquon a lot. Saquon does another solid game here, 107 rushing yards and a TD. But Jalen Hurts, he gets a TD as well. Of course, the tush push is undefeated. But only 118 passing yards and 1 passing TD. So maybe you got to get that passing volume up higher. No Devontae Smith this game due to a hamstring injury. A.J. Brown finishes with 5 catches, 66 yards. Dallas Goedert comes back. He gets 3 catches, 35 yards and a TD. So not a horrible game here. But Eagles win, mainly relying on their defense, which is something I did not expect to be happening this late into the season. So it's great to see that their defense improved, but let's see if their passing offense can improve. Because we know their O-line and their wide receivers and their run game is all good. Now their defense is looking good. Can the quarterback be that strength, or will he be that weakness for this team? That's the ultimate question. But overall, I thought the game was above average. Kind of slightly disappointed. I thought it would be a little bit better, but still above average. I'm giving it a 65 out of 100. Now we're going on to the next game, which is the 49ers take on the Buffalo Bills. And I'm really looking forward to this game because it's do or die for the Niners. They got McCaffrey back. He hasn't been looking good, but can he finally return to form? And it looks like he was on the verge of doing it, but he gets tackled on what looked like could have been a breakaway run, trips, lands on his knee, hurts his knee, out for the season. He's on IR. So that hurt me the most. No, I got Christian McCaffrey in fantasy. And the first time he's having a good performance, he goes out. It hurts. Hopefully I can still win a ring in that league. But I am nervous now. Now, he did finish with 7 carries, 53 yards. So 7.6 yards per carry, the best efficiency he has been all year. Jordan Mason filled in for him. 13 carries, 78 yards. But Jordan Mason also got banged up here. Isaac Guerrero came in. He got the TD, 4 carries, 19 yards, and TD there. So the Niners are loaded at running backs. They got multiple running backs that look like they're very solid. Mason, McCaffrey, Guerrero. They have solid running backs. So I just never understood why they use McCaffrey so much. I think they should always ease McCaffrey's workload more and saved him for the playoffs and gave him that 80 to 90% workload. They've been giving 80, 90% workload all season. He gets hurt again. You know, you can't predict injuries and stuff, but I think they do have to manage them better in the future. 60% workload is all you need because you got weapons behind them. Now, we got to look at their other weapons. Debo Samuel, trash can. Jawan Jennings, a solid game here by him. 3 catches, 56 yards. George Kittle only finishes with 1 catch, one of the worst performances for the season for him so far. And a whole bunch of fumbles here for the Niners. Purdy fumbles, Debo fumbled, Kyle Juszczyk fumbled. West Coast team flying out northeast at night in the wintertime. I mean, this game was just a disaster. It was snowing and all. They weren't built for this. So we go look at the Bills, a team that was built for this. Josh Allen, 148 passing yards, 2 passing TDs. Great game here by Josh Allen. Didn't have to do too much. They just ran all over this team. James Cook, 14 carries, 107 yards, including a 65-yard breakaway TD run where he just ran down the sideline, used his speed to get by everybody. Ray Davis came in. He got a TD run. Josh Allen got a TD run. And Josh Allen also got a TD catch. He got the hat trick. He threw the pass to Amari Cooper. Then Amari Cooper was about to get tackled. He saw Josh Allen roll over there. Amari Cooper pitches it to Josh Allen, one of the best plays of the season. Josh Allen runs for the pylon. He dives in. He gets a receiving TD and a passing TD all on one play. He also got a rushing TD later on in the game. So although that play was spectacular, the game was not. Thought the game was below average. I'm giving it a 45 out of 100. Now we're going on to our next and final game, which is a Monday night thriller. It was the Cleveland Browns take on the Denver Broncos, a Jerry Jeudy revenge game. And oh my goodness, what a game this was. An absolute thriller, shootout, all that. Jameis Winston goes for 497 passing yards. Yes, nearly 500 passing yards, 4 passing TDs, and 3 interceptions. You count the pick sixes, the man threw 6 TDs. The man was out there going crazy. You look at Bo Nix on the other side, he wasn't that much better, 294 passing yards, 1 TD, 2 interception, but he threw an absolute laser to Marvin Mims. That led to a 93-yard TD, one of the best plays of the season, at least one of the best passes of the season. On the ground, though, Jaleel McLaughlin led the way for the Broncos. He had 14 carries, 84 yards. Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims both go over 100 yards, but Sutton does it in a decent way. Marvin Mims basically had that 1 TD and didn't do too much else. Sutton had 6 catches for 102 yards. Now, we go look at the Browns on the other hand. The Jerry Jeudy revenge game. What does Jerry Jeudy do? 9 catches, 235 yards, and a touchdown. And every time he got a catch, the crowd booed the heck out of him, and Jeudy let him have it. All right, Jeudy balled out this game. Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb, they don't do too much on the ground here. But Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, by the way, also goes over 100 yards on 8 catches, so solid game there by him. David Njoku, he gets 2 TDs, 9 catches, 52 yards, so solid game there by Njoku. Overall, very entertaining game. I will not lie to you. The final score is 41-32, but that's because the Browns needed a field goal, and instead of getting in field goal range, Jameis decided to throw a touchdown to the other team. But I also loved how after the Marvin Mims TD, Jerry Jeudy got the TD right back. So it's like, bro, back-to-back touchdowns. That's always awesome. This game was spectacular. I'm giving it a 97 out of 100, and it is the official game of the week. So that should have been the gameplay in the background. But that gameplay is over. Patriots-Colts is a solid one in my opinion. But let me know what you guys thought was the game of the week this week. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one.